Evernorth? Mega North. I've got the details that you want. Dates, ticker symbols, key facts. We're also going to talk about a big bank getting into crypto. What are they doing with it? I'm going to share it with you if you keep watching. We're going to talk XRP price, altcoin season index, because things are starting to move.
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
Ooh, some green up on the screen and check it out. XRP is beating BNB in terms of dominance. Now, you know the deal. You're the viewer. You matter most. So share your comments at the beginning of every video and why I'm doing videos while on vacation. Stephen White starts us off and says, Lima, Peru is pretty awesome. There's a big running community in Miraflores. We'll probably check out Guatemala next year. Seriously, do it. You will not be upset. Now, the motivation and inspiration in this video comes from Mr. Touche himself. Jeremy, dropping support on the channel. Thank you very much, Jeremy. Says Klaus. Would you consider doing a short video on Xrp Evernorth? Forget a short video, Jeremy. I'm going to do a long one with a bunch of deets, like what the ticker symbol will be, how to buy, where to buy it, etc. Maybe premature. I just have a lot of questions about it, and I don't want to miss out on the opportunity and possibly. If not, no worries. No, Jeremy, I got your back. Y'all ready? And I've also got a huge update on regs that you will most definitely be interested in. Everything that I talk about Evernorth in this video is going to be linked in the description below. I have an extremely lengthy announcement from NASDAQ regarding this. I can't read it all verbatim because holy crap, we'd be here forever. I'm going to go over the high points. If you want to save it, seriously, save it, bookmark it. It's linked down below. And if you don't mind, throw me a sub because it's free for the hard work. Bitcoin, warming up. So are the alts. Bitcoin 114,898. ETH is 4197. XRP is at 2671. BNB is at 1144. You notice the XRP dominance is higher than BNB's? Yeah, baby. That's even with BNB's recent pump. XRP is like, yo, girlfriend, take a back seat. Altcoin season index? I don't know about that. We're at 29 out of 100, a little bit better than we were last week, but still nowhere near where we were in September. Volume from crypto is starting to pick back up. $173 billion. And remember, 2 days from now on the 29th, and if you're sitting there going, bro, it's the 28th. Well, I'm going to say, bro, chick, blue-haired giraffe, maybe you hit that notification bell so you get the news right away. 2 days from now, we're expecting to get a quarter cut from Jerome Powell. The big problem is, though, is he might be a little negative fuddy-duddy because we're not going to have CPI reports, and there's a whole bunch of other data that we're not going to be getting because the government's going to be shut down. Speaking of shut down, listen to this. This comes from a Republican Senator, Tom Tillis, in regards to the regs. Crypto legislation faces a small window in Congress, Tillis says. Political pressures will make it too difficult to move legislation sought by both parties to regulate and tax cryptocurrencies if Congress doesn't act in the next few months. Basically, what he's saying is this. If we don't get it in the next few months, we're probably not going to get it at all. This is what he said. I'm not optimistic about us moving much further on anything around digital assets, stablecoins, or crypto in this Congress, said Senator Tillis, Republican from North Carolina. He told Bloomberg government reporters and editors, if we don't get it done by the first part of January and February, I don't think it happens in this Congress. I think we move into political season. Why? Because then we start talking about midterms. So now remember, the update last week was Brian Armstrong saying, yo, we're 90% of the way there. But the problem is we're not going to even be able to vote on it until the government is done with the shutdown crap. And the worst part about it is these temporary spending bills that they have, they don't give us that much time. Now, like I said, I'm going to keep you updated on this. This is just one person's quote. Maybe he's a negative Nancy, right? Maybe he woke up on the other side of bed. Maybe his wife wasn't nice and give him a little. No, I can't say that. Yeah, actually, I can. Maybe his wife didn't give him a little hummection. That's right, and he's all pissy. Maybe his wife should jump on the grenade and make Senator Tillis a little bit more optimistic. I'm still optimistic that we're going to get regs, but the problem is if the shutdown continues, it's what? Going to delay it. Now, Citi and Coinbase are exploring stablecoin payments for institutional clients. Citi's stablecoin payments initiative with Coinbase involves building infrastructure for corporate and institutional clients to conduct efficient on-chain transactions. This was announced via a Citi press release. The partnership enables bi-directional flows between fiat and crypto, solving issues like cross-border transfers and legacy systems. I like it. It also brings what? 24/7 fund movements. But Citi picked Coinbase. Damn it, everyone. Come on now. There's other rails you could pick. All right. Now, onto the Evernorth mega news. And like I said, this is linked in the description below. You know what else is in the description below? My second channel. Check that one out as well and hit that subscribe button because, again, it's free to subscribe. You ready? All right, here we go. Evernorth Holdings Inc., a newly formed Nevada corporation, Evernorth, that will enable XRP adoption for institutional scale, today announced its public launch and the execution of a business combination agreement with Armada Acquisition Corp. Their current symbol, Armada Acquisition Corp, is AACI. Here's their stock. Sadly, when they made the announcement, it went down, not by much. It went down by like 20 cents. So I don't think anyone's too worried about that. But here are the deets you want, okay? This is going to be done via a SPAC, a special purpose acquisition company. Upon closing of the transaction, the combined company will operate under the Evernorth name and is expected to trade on the NASDAQ under the ticker symbol XRPN. All right, that's a big one. And this is coming from NASDAQ. All right, this is a NASDAQ press release. All right. The transaction is expected to raise over $1 billion in gross proceeds, including $200 million from SBI and additional investments from Ripple and other players out there. Evernorth is designed to provide investors with a simple, liquid, and transparent exposure to XRP through a publicly listed vehicle. Unlike a passive ETF, Evernorth seeks to grow XRP per share over time by participating in institutional lending, liquidity provisioning, and DeFi yield opportunities. So, big difference between this and what you see as strategy. Strategy just buys it, puts it on its books, and hodls it, hoping that, as the value of BTC goes up, the value of strategy goes up. Evernorth is actually going to use XRP in the ways that I described just before. That's big because that can actually help grow XRP. See, Saylor really can't help grow BTC because, well, you get why. BTC doesn't work the same way. And there's already a whole bunch of players out there doing it with BTC. And honestly, all he cares about is being a holding company. Evernorth is built to provide investors more than exposure to XRP's price as we capitalize on existing TradeFi yield generation strategies and deploy into DeFi yield opportunities. That's where I think a lot of us are going to be very interested in. And because of that, we could start looking at Evernorth, Meganorth is what I would like to call it. It's like a supercharged XRP. Evernorth is led by CEO Aisha Brila, who brings deep experience at the intersection of digital assets and global payments. Cool. Now, you want some more deets on this? Here you go. The transaction, which has been unanimously approved by the board of directors of both companies, is expected to close in Q1 of 2026, subject to customary closing conditions and shareholder approvals. In addition to its vision to build one of the largest institutional XRP treasuries in the world, Evernorth plans to deploy resources towards advancing the XRP ecosystem more broadly. See, and that's what you don't see Saylor do. Saylor just buys it and hodls it. Evernorth actually wants to do stuff with XRP. So remember, they expect this to close in Q1 of 2026. If anything changes timeline-wise, I will have you covered. Now, that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if you see some people get into this because I'm sure there's going to be some sort of conversion. That being said, I'll keep you updated on that as well. We're still way early in this. We've got about 4 or 5 months or so until this actually goes live. But listen to this, okay? This is why I'm excited. Validator participation in network security. Operating XRP validators to strengthen the resilience and decentralization of the ledger. This is big because you want the ledger to actually start doing stuff, right? I mean, you've seen plenty of ledgers of chains out there. They're just not adding any juice, but if we start using it and building on it, even better. DeFi integration, leveraging Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin as an on-ramp into XRP-based decentralized finance, enabling yield opportunities and broader adoption of XRP as collateral. Hot. XRP collateral is big because now we're just using it more than just speculatively. As a collateral, I think a lot of you would be cool with that. Staking, I think a lot of you would be cool with that. Yield, I think so as well. Market development, providing liquidity and participating in projects that expands XRP's real-world utility across payments, capital markets, and tokenized assets. Evernorth's strategy is designed not only to accumulate XRP as a reserve, which is what strategy does, but to also act as a long-term catalyst for the adoption and institutionalization of the XRP ledger. In connection with the closing of the transaction, Each Class A share of Armada 2 that has not been redeemed for cash in accordance with the terms of its organizational documents will convert into Class A shares of Evernorth for a one-to-one basis. So essentially saying if you buy the Class A action, right, it will then go into Evernorth. So there's going to be some people that are going to be like, okay, well, we're really not too cool at this. We're going to get out. Cool, they can get out. But then the rest of those will be converted. Citigroup Global Markets is one of the advisors. They are now the sole private placement agent and serving as the capital markets advisor to Evernorth. Davis Polk, oh, okay, that's all legal stuff. Like I said, you want to check all that out? It's down below. At closing, Evernorth will be a publicly traded digital asset treasury that provides investors with exposure to XRP through regulated, liquid, and transparent structure. So let's pretend we don't get the regs. We will at least have Evernorth. And that's a big, big deal, everyone. Unlike ETFs, Evernorth intends to actively grow XRP per share through a mix of institutional and DeFi strategies. This is freaking hot. And remember, it's going to be XRPN in the first quarter of 2026. And as things happen, because I think we're going to see some changes along the way, right? Maybe some more concrete timelines, other participants. Maybe we're going to see some other big capital investments. I will bring that all to you. Armada 2 and Evernorth intended to file with the SEC a registration statement on S4, which will include a preliminary proxy statement of Armada 2 and prospectus of Evernorth. These are all important things, and like I said, they're getting them done. Armada 2, Evernorth, and Pathfinder and their respective directors and executive officers may be deemed under SEC rules to be participants in the solicitation of the proxies for Armada 2 shareholders in connection with the business combination. So all of this stuff is going to be disclosed, all right? This is exactly what we've been looking for. And like I told you, I think this is going to be massive. Like I said, Metaplanet, they buy BTC and they hodl. Strategy buys BTC and hodls it. The miners, they mine BTC and then dump it, right? This is actually going to be using XRP. Like I said, you want to read it all? Bookmark this. I've got it saved. Here you go. I'll even save it on my laptop. I have it saved in my computer at home. I've got it saved. That being said, save it yourself so that you can always have this as a good reference and look to me for updates. Now, overall in the crypto market, fear and greed sitting at 42, no problems right there. I bet you we're going to see some institutional mini inflows here when I refresh this tomorrow, so stay tuned for that update. It appears that every time the market warms up, the institutions want to buy. They don't buy on the dip. They buy on the tip. They buy on green days where you and I buy on red days. Now, speaking of green days, great band, XRP for the week is up 5.8%. This is a very healthy move, everyone. Look at this. This is a pretty strong momentum, and you can keep seeing XRP pushing its way through. Zooming into the 24-hour chart, what do you notice? We got really close to that 270 mark, and then we got pushed on back down. I'm okay with that, all right? Because again, we just got the positivity from the United States and China potential agreement, right? They're getting really close to making sure that everything is solidified there. The volume for XRP up 56% right now to 5.25 billion. Now, looking at the candlesticks, what can we see specifically? Yep, right here. You see it clear as day, right? Look at that. Highs just below that 270 mark right there. And in fact, if I zoom out, look at this, all right? You're going to see from Sunday Bloody Sunday, I believe it was Sunday Bloody Sunday, October 9th, right? Was it October 9th? Either way, whatever day the 9th was, we're rebounding from there, the 9th and the 10th. We're moving our way on up. And remember, all of this price action right here was what? About crypto week with regs. So if we can get the government shutdown to end, we can start moving on to regs. Granted, some people are saying the window is small, but other bigs out there like Brian Armstrong, who was on a bipartisan, right, a Democratic and Republican crypto panel, said, yo, we're 90% of the way there. And a big thank you to Jeremy for supporting the channel and asking for the Evernorth deets. See, that's why you, the viewer, matter most. I do these videos for you. Otherwise, it would just be me babbling in some courtyard in Antigua, Guatemala. Hold up. That's actually exactly what I'm doing. I'm babbling in a courtyard right now. But either way, I'm looking extremely forward, like positively forward for Evernorth and what it brings, especially because they want to do stuff with XRP. Like, don't get me wrong. I get it's cool that, Bitcoin has the strategies, the meta planets, the riots, and all those out there, but they just like buy and hodl. Like, what does that do? You know what I mean? Like, you got to do something with it to grow it, right? And that's what Evernorth is going to do. Now, in terms of the specifics, I gave you what I got right now. Remember, we're still way early in this. This was all announced on October 20th, and they're expecting this to get done first quarter of 2026. We got like 3, 4, 5 months, somewhere around in there. So look for more juicy updates to happen. Now, if we can somehow get regs before then, I think that's going to supercharge Evernorth from Mega North to Mega North on spray. Yeah, you get to hit the fun button. Come on, fun button? We all got like throttle switches right on the gas pedal for wide open throttle. But come on now, what are we in the movies? 2 stages, baby. So, choo choo what? Well, you know the deal. Check out my second channel, link down below, where I show you all that is Guatemala. In fact, you want to see the coolest Starbucks ever? Well, I've got a short on that channel, the most beautiful Starbucks I've ever seen, and I fucking hate Starbucks, but I like this one. So choo choo what? Choo choo bitches.